Right, this is commentary for my Crusader epic, the full cut. This is something new that I'm starting to do now. I'm trying to get all my scenes and then tie them together. So this is the first teaser trailer that I shot, but now my teaser trailers are so good they actually make it in the final cut. So maybe a year, 2 years ago, I'd always shoot the test first or do some tests, experiment with VFX, but now I don't need to do that anymore just because I know what I'm doing and I'm like a king with the After Effects now, which has been always my plan all along. I put day for night filter on this one, basically in the edit. Usually I don't like day for night, but recently I've been using it for ninjas. I've been using it for this, and it is sick. These embers, as far as actually 4K from Footage Crate, Brian put one on top, so Dr. Lopez basically put one on top, and I originally had a green screen fire. I was kind of really happy with it because it's basically got like the all rocks and logs and stuff, but the fire itself was a bit puny, but really I wanted embers to kind of show like the heat and all that. Now this desert scene, I think all came out really wicked. I just think like, you know, it's just mind-blowing what you can do with the green screen if you like your mind is set to it. So here I got like a trippy scene, because obviously I try to do a trippy scene, and there's a pussy always coming through room in the commentary. So yeah, the tripping scene was supposed to happen in the Vikings one, and then I never got my tripping scene, and because like I'm kind of collaborating with the guy with the real one, Lone Crusader it's called, he's kind of into all that stuff, you know, me not so much anymore. I've had my time. But I do like tripping scenes. I still get a kick out of seeing them, so I wanted one in my film, and this is kind of like more like a holy vision, dehydration, malnutrition, something, you know, that he's had basically. And then obviously here's the walls of Jerusalem. So this is more accurate to the first and second crusade. The second crusade wasn't as successful as the first one. The first one was a really big one. That was the one where they proper, like, you know, took over Jerusalem again, had it for like, you know, decades, and then the Muslims would take it off. It was basically constant back and forth. So the Muslims would retake it, and the Christians would come retake it. Then towards Richard Lionheart's time, which comes in a sec, it was more about all the surrounding areas, controlling the Mediterranean, controlling Egypt, so basically north of Africa, you know, along this whole east sort of Mediterranean side that King Alexander came down. It was a lot of those guys were repeating like past glories, revisiting previous battles, locations, stuff like that. This ship came out really cool. If you see the other extended cut, the Richard Lionheart commentary, I kind of talk about it briefly. We had some glitches, some problems, but luckily Dr. Lopez came that night and sorted it out pretty much, which is pretty good. Within a day he kind of fixed it, so I think he felt a bit guilty maybe, but also I have a whinge. These guys came out really cool. This speech was really wicked. The only upsetting thing was my mom was making noise upstairs, so it was kind of put me off at first, and then eventually I was getting into it and did several takes. I do the 50mm, I do the wide angle. Now that's kind of like my protocol. This beach landing I just think is wicked. They actually kind of swam up from the beach itself, so I mean, you know, I've got to cheat because obviously I'm doing green screen. I can't have water here, you know, I don't have a budget. There's no water tank like in Pinewood, stuff like that, you know, the Bond uses all the time. But all this came out sick nonetheless, you know. I mean, these cannons, this is all just a still. This isn't even like a 3D model or anything. We try to look at that, and then the rendering was being too crazy. But now my next one, the Pirate Epic, we're actually using the CG model, which is amazing. So look out for that one, fans, subscribers, likes. But yeah, then marching up the back, I've actually got several elements. There's about like 5 or 6 elements in that shot. So I kind of come in, I do my sort of layers, and then Dr. Lopez will come in and blend it. Like you see, you got depth of field here and stuff. Like I wouldn't do that. He might clean up some bits. I always tell him, like, you know, even though I'm way good with the After Effects and the keying now, just double check. You know, sometimes the matte is a bit off, so you have to be careful. You know, because I make mistakes. We all do sometimes. But it still come out really wicked. I just love this whole bit. Even like the blood on the screen there. I mean, I've only got this one blood pack, so if you notice I keep reusing the same blood squirts and splatters and stuff like that. But this is a brutal ass battle, man. I mean, they didn't actually face a big number because Saladin was off like away from the fort. But eventually they did kind of like have battles with them, little skirmishes, and kind of force them back inland. Because don't forget, I mean, all Muslims are basically descent from Persians. Really, it's all that sort of same neck of the woods. And Persians were constantly battling the Greeks. So when the Persians kind of finished, it was all about the Muslims kind of, you know, dominating that area and then clashing with the Christians. So hence the Greeks, the whites, whatever, the foreigners. And this act, believe it or not, is actually a true story. As soon as I found this out, I was like, man, I gotta do that scene. This guy is a badass. He went into this battle, not the first Jaffa, but the second one with the Danish axe, with the bearded axe. So it's not something he always had in his battles, but it was one specific to this, and he just hacked and slashed. So hence all the blood and gore, you know. Obviously I got no effects, I can't get blood on this, I can't get dirt, I can't get all that special effects stuff, so CG is the only way to do it on this kind of budget, which is no budget. This Richie lion thing, I kind of came up here, took the little bits, put the fucking bit in, you know, I didn't ask for that. I think I was passed out at that point, even tracked my head there, the crown, you know, with the king, but that's all come out wicked. This end screen is actually from Vikings. I kind of had a different background. I had the Jerusalem wall, which was the Viking wall here in this CG scene, and I used that as my backdrop, but I just wanted somewhere with knights, and I never did formal end screens here. So this is it, alright? I hope that's all good. Colin Russell is the guy that does the other one, the Lone Crusader one, so check that out too when it comes out. Alright, peace, yo. Richard Lionheart, blood. Richie Lion.